This movie is really not as much fun as it should be. M3GAN is the newest doll horror movie from Blumhouse and it stars Allison Williams, Violet McGraw, and Amy Donald. It tells the story of a robotics engineer at a toy company building a lifelike doll, but then suddenly begins to take on a life of its own. And I wasn't necessarily all too excited for this movie, though I figured I would check it out. January has a reputation for being a pretty poor month for movies, especially in theaters. Sometimes studios will just decide to dump their lesser movies in January, but I didn't think this movie was going to be all that good, and I came out right, because this movie really is not that good, and not that much fun either. Not a good horror movie. But before I get more into my in-depth thoughts on this movie, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy the rest of this video, and comment down below what are your thoughts or expectations for M3GAN. But let's keep talking about it. Now, this movie starts off with a terrible first act. The characters we're introduced to and throughout the rest of the movie are boring, and they're just incredibly by the numbers. It has a setup that you've seen plenty of times in other horror movies or other just movies in general. This is a movie that basically strips the story of the classic killer doll movie Child's Play, puts it into this movie, and just adds a bit of a spin on it with 21st century technology coming into play. It is basically the remake of Child's Play, the Child's Play movie from 2019. It's also a movie that is not nearly as much fun as it should be. The trailers for this movie set up definitely a movie that was probably going to be an easy watch, and yes, I can say that M3GAN is an easy watch, I guess. It obviously features a story that we've seen done before, but then you had like M3GAN dancing and just cracking funny jokes. It seems like she was going to be a doll that had a lot of energy. I can confidently say though that M3GAN as a doll or as a character is not that much fun. This movie feels lifeless. While it does give a bit of depth and backstory to one of our main characters, played by Violet McGraw, but again, like I said, this is a movie that is just nothing new. It's predictable, you know exactly where it's going to go, and that makes for an unnecessarily boring movie. It hits every single beat that you think it's going to. Speaking of Violet McGraw, I didn't find her performance to be all that good, and just overall, the cast isn't particularly great. It seemed like Allison Williams was the only one in this movie that actually kind of gave a crap about what she was doing. And as for this being a horror movie, it is not scary at all. Definitely don't go into this movie thinking it'll give you a lot of thrills. All the thrills are predictable. Like I said, you know when stuff is going to happen. The jump scares are cheap, and that's really only what makes this a horror movie, aside from the fact that there's a killer doll on the loose. M3GAN also feels held back by its rating. I understand that making a PG-13 horror movie will probably get more audiences to go see it, especially the younger demographics. Pre-teens and teens are going to be more likely to be able to go see this movie now that it's rated PG-13. By making a movie that isn't rated R, it's not going to have as much violence. The language is definitely toned down to a minimum, and I would have liked to see more of that. And the comedy as well, this movie just feels dry. If they were to make a sequel that I don't really want to see, I would definitely hope that they would go for a rated R rating. And one last thing, this movie sets up a villain plotline with an assistant to Allison Williams' boss's character. It was definitely going to be a villain plotline that was nothing groundbreaking. It gets set up and then goes absolutely nowhere. In the back of my mind, I kept thinking, are they going to come back to this? Are they going to come back to this? No, the movie just ends without ever returning to it. So yeah, overall, M3GAN is a real stinker. It's uninteresting, not nearly as entertaining as it should be. It's a movie that you can watch but not feel anything. You're not going to feel any excitement. You're not going to feel any joy. You're not going to feel all that scared because this is a horror movie. It's not scary. As far as I'm concerned, M3GAN doesn't have anything on Chucky. I'm going to give M3GAN a D. It's not one of the worst things I've ever seen, but it's also not one of the best things I've ever seen. I know I'm probably in the minority on this one, but guys, if you have seen M3GAN, let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comment section. If we have differing opinions, that's okay, but also if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as that notification bell so you don't miss any further videos and reviews. And as always, look forward to more content coming soon. My name is Ben, people call me Meteor, and I'll see you guys in the next one.